Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Black Bull 21-year-old 50% ABV. Dustin, your bottle, and then we got our good buddy Keith joining us again for a few more whiskey reviews, backed by popular demand, Malted Man Cave. Black Bull 21, blended Scotch whiskey. Dustin, what can you tell us about it?
Yeah, Mike, so this is 21 years old. It is a mixture of bourbon cask and sherry cask. They call it a high malt, meaning that I believe it's over 50% malt. I don't know exactly how high. And I tried doing a little bit of research on where they're sourcing the blended malts from, but I couldn't get anything definitive. So we'll just kind of talk about it and tell you about the taste.
Yep, we'll go from there.
About $150, $180 these days.
Dustin, I saw a Black Bull 40 sitting over there at the party source. That interests me quite a bit. You got this 21, so it's my first time with any of these offerings. Excited to get to it.
That is super fruity.
It
That
is.
is like running through a field of barley and then right through an apple orchard.
Yeah, floral, fruity. Got flowers along with some nice orchard fruits.
I mean, you'd instantly go right to like a Speyside or maybe a Highland heavy sherry.
think.
Not first fill sherry, but this comes off a very heavy, high percentage sherry cask.
Maybe Glenfiddich-esque.
Yeah.
Not bad.
know,
That's a really good fruity note.
Yeah, it comes off light on the nose. It doesn't come off 50% ABV. It comes off very, very approachable alcohol-wise. You almost taste it.
Yeah, I'm glad they bottled this at 50 because I think it was necessary because it is a very subtle, gentle dram in that.
That's like Glenmorangie.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's very Highland Spey, just kind of generic, but well done.
The nose is a little bit better than the palate. There's a little bitey on the palate.
Yeah, I mean, you can pick up a little bit more of the ABV. It is a little simple, sharp, and
Still
tart
good,
on the palate.
Still good.
I actually like the fact that it gives us a little bit of spiciness, a little bit of bite nump. Now, that's obviously, I think, coming from some of that grain whiskey in here. The sherry notes, I wish they were turned a little higher on the palate. They're a little turned down here. You're getting more of the bourbon cask, more of the just nice oak notes. Definitely getting some refill oak spice.
Definitely getting some oak notes. I mean, it was a bit sharp, a bit twinge of tannic, but there was a considerable amount of oak note. You got old whiskey, I guess, from that oak note, at least on the palate.
I tell you what, though, those apple orchard fruit notes are pretty dang delicious. They're out.
Yeah.
It's a better smeller than it is taster.
Yeah, I mean, I like this toasted kind of spicy, kind of a crumble cake kind of thing going on here on the finish. Good oak notes.
Like a white frosting.
I can see that.
Yeah, you're right. The crumble kind of oak note at the end. I mean, that's a decent finish. It is, especially when you're trying it neat. I would say it was a pretty sharp palate initially. I really liked the nose. I thought the palate was a bit sharp, but sometimes I will get that with grain whiskeys.
Again, I think with grain you're expecting it a little bit, but again, it could be a little boring if you don't get that little bit of spice there. Sometimes those Glenmorangies, those
FedEx.
Glenfiddicks, they're a little boring on those 21s. Like they just they're sweet, they're pleasant.
I agree.
But the finish is kind of waning. This gives you a nice little spice. I wish the spice waited till the end versus kind of coming in early.
The water could handle it on the palate for sure. I mean, 50% alcohol, it was a little bit sharp. It had some ABV to burn. On the nose, I kind of liked it a little bit neat. I thought it was at its best at that 50%, but at least you got a couple ways you can play with it and enjoy it.
Pour it, nose it for a little while, and then add a drop of water.
It was so stinking good. I get Sauterne wine notes through this
I can
whole
see
thing.
that. I can see that.
It's good. I like it.
I really like what they've done here. It's from start to finish, it's a well put together 21-year-old whiskey. I actually am kind of surprised because I don't hear a lot of talk about Black Bull. I do hear some. I mean, it's definitely a brand people probably recognize. They've seen in their stores. I mean, I see these around pretty often. So
where do you guys at for as a whiskey score on this one? Dustin?
I'm going to give this an 87, Mike. Maybe a little high, but I feel comfortable maybe rounding up just because of the price point. Good finish, long, lingering. I like the spice. I like that it changes with the water. I like the nose and the arrival are really beautiful. So I think they've done well. maybe it's an 86, but I'm going to go ahead and give it the 87.
Yeah, I was going to say 86. But you know what? The more kind of with water that I've had it, I was a bit turned off initially just by the initial arrival on the palate. It came off a little unpleasant on the palate initially. But water really, being the fact you can take water is always usually a good sign. And again, it's a pleasant nosing whiskey. It's not that. I mean, I think anybody could smell this whiskey and not find some things that they found that were interesting about it.
I'd be shocked if anybody disliked the nose.
Correct, yeah. It's almost like Moonhaven 25. Like, if you don't like the smell of this, you probably don't like whiskey. Keith, where you at on something, buddy?
So if you like apple, vanilla, frosting, Sauterne white wine type goodness, you will probably really, really like this whiskey. I agree, like a little bit on the palate, it got a little astringent, and then it went away.
Sure.
And then
water takes
and
it
then
right
they're
away.
really good like Sauternes and all that.
It's getting better every
delicious
sip,
notes.
too.
Yeah,
So
solid older offering.
because of the price point, because it's like an off whiskey that's not crazy priced, right? How much are you?
I paid
100
100 for it, but I think these days 150.
21-year-old, dang.
not terrible.
150 is kind of the going rate these days, maybe 180 for today's market, and that's new pricing, not old pricing. That's like new, very current pricing. It's about 180 is as high as you'll see it, I think.
I think I'm gonna give it an 88. That's pretty dang good, man. If you like orchard fruits and all that, man, that's pretty good.
Yep, solid offering.
87 average from the group.
Yeah, solid offering for the Black Bull. If you guys had a chance to try this one, we'd like to know what you guys think. Until next time, Dustin, what do we wish the folks?
Happy orchard fruit drinking.
We'll see you then.